The video I did on quiet quitting was to get you to think about the role of work in your life. Think about priorities, think about boundaries. Okay, so the post I saw yesterday that absolutely broke my heart was a lady who said that she quiet quit years ago and she's been quiet quitting ever since. And she feels marginalized, she feels tokenized. She is, my take of her post, absolutely miserable. She's miserable and she stays in misery every single day. So I commented on the post. Yes, I did a video on quiet quitting, but I couldn't disagree with her post more if I tried. And I want you guys to write this down. And I said to her, I'm not going to quiet quit because that's what somebody expects me to do. I'm not going to be marginalized or tokenized because that's not how I'm going to react to somebody's environment that they're putting me in, or I'm going to stay in that environment. And I told her, I said, write this down. Go where you are celebrated, not tolerated. And I'll say that again. Go where you are celebrated, not tolerated. And I bring up this post and kind of my comments back because there is a correlation between this idea of quiet quitting that has been so prevalent in the kind of dialect and dialogue over the past few weeks, and there's a direct correlation between that and those of you who are reaching out to me saying, I'm miserable. I want to know if I should quit my job. My boss is a jerk. I don't like my job anymore. I'm not allowed to do the job I was hired to do. So many of you are reaching out to me asking that simple question: should I quit my job? And then you say, what's next for me? And that's why, look, on these videos, I'm going to give you the framework to think about this morning. But again, I continue to invite you to go deeper with me, reach out to me. Let's get into your individual situation because I can't do that on these videos. But what I can tell you is there was a large number of you who quiet quit a long time ago. And it has nothing to do with priorities or boundaries. It's because you're in a miserable situation at work. So the question you're asking me that I'm now posing back this morning is, should you quit your job? Should I quit my job, Cicely? That's the question I get all the time. And this morning, today, I challenge you with a fundamental choice. And so I hope you have a pencil and paper to get ready to write this down because there's one question you have to answer when it comes to, should I quit my job? Here's the choice you have. The choice is, do you want to choose miserable or uncomfortable? And I think Ken Coleman phrased it that way. And I love the way he phrased it. You have a choice to be miserable or uncomfortable. I'm just going to let that sit for a moment while you write that down. If you're miserable, which is what the post was that I read, that I commented on, but is also what I'm hearing from so many of you, you're miserable, but you're not taking action. And here's why. And I did it. I've done it too. This is pot kettle, here. I stayed in a job where I was not celebrated. I was tolerated. And I learned my lesson from that. So I talk to each of you individually and come before you to talk about, if you're miserable, it's because it's the devil you know versus the one you don't. You're miserable in a job where your boss may be a jerk. You don't like your job anymore. You don't like the people you're around. You're tired of the gossiping. You're tired of the drama. But it's easier to stay miserable than to do something about it because that's the devil you know. The devil you don't know is uncomfortable. And again, I love the way Ken Coleman phrases this because uncomfortable is the unknown. It's the devil you don't know. So, since someone said to me maybe last week, I'm scared to change. I'm scared to make a change in my career because what if I don't like it there either? You have a choice between being miserable in the job you're in and the devil you know, or being uncomfortable about the unknown, but making a change that can solve that misery. Now, this is kind of a head heart problem. Your head is saying, "What are you doing? Get out of there. This is horrible. You spend most of your time at work and you're miserable. Get out of there." And your heart is saying, hang on, whoa, 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 hang on. For some of you, it's reversed. Some of you have told me, my heart's telling me it's time, my head's telling me, hang on, because what about the paycheck? What about the next job? Am I going to find one? What if I don't like it? What if I end up in the same situation again? You guys are struggling with the fundamental question of misery versus being uncomfortable, miserable versus uncomfortable. Do I or don't I? Devil I know, devil I don't know. Because the uncertainty that you're scared to jump to is you don't want to end up in the same situation that you're in right now. And I 1000% understand that. Some of you, your uncomfortableness may not be jumping to another job, it may be starting a business. That was my uncomfortable situation. I decided after miserable to go uncomfortable and venture into something I'd never done before. But this is not about me. This is about your choice. I've made that choice, but it was forced on me. I'm asking you this morning to make the choice on your own terms so it's not forced on you. Do you want to be miserable or uncomfortable? Do you want to stay in the job where you know you're unhappy? Or do you want to try to find an alternative solution? So when you come to me and say, should I quit? From going forward, I think that's the question I'm now going to ask you because I'm getting these calls and comments so often is, do you want to be miserable or do you want to be uncomfortable? Now, for the last couple of people I've spoken to, you've inspired me to do a 2 or 3 day workshop just on this topic, how to help you find your purpose and your why and what's next for you. So you have my commitment to walk alongside you on this journey and help you figure this out. My team and I sat down yesterday and we're actually trying to figure out how do we serve you in this moment and help you answer the question of should you quit or should you not? Do you stay or do you go? Do you go where you're celebrated or do you stay where you're tolerated? So that's my commitment as you continue to reach out to me, and I invite you to do so. My commitment to you is to bring something forward to you in the next couple of weeks or couple of months where we're going to help you solve this problem. And I can see some comments are coming in. I'll get to those in a moment, but I'm not giving you a 3-step framework this morning. I'm not giving you a 5-step framework. There is just that one fundamental question that's going to move you to action. And it's where you choose to be in this moment. Miserable is easy. Uncomfortable is hard. Let me say that again. Miserable is easy. It's the path of least resistance. Being uncomfortable is very hard. Answer the question of which one do you choose, and you will know whether it's time to quit your job. But whatever you do, I beg you this morning, please do not quiet quit because you feel like you have to. That video, that conversation is about the role of work in your life. And if the role of work in your life is you're miserable, then you may have already answered the question of whether it's time for you to go or not.